Welcome to Just Sayin, a podcast produced by and recorded at Tri-State Worship Center. Now your host, Pastor Terry Wagner.
Hey, welcome to another episode of the Just Sayin podcast. I'm Pastor Terry from Tri-State Worship Center, and I have with me today the media magician, Tyler Staton, who is freshly back from vacation.
I am. I don't know about freshly, but I am here.
Well, I didn't want to say stalely back from vacation.
I'm about as fresh as a pair of gym socks.
Not fresh at all. Well, and we also are joined with us in the studio today by a third member of the team that we're going to have hanging around with us. Her name is Holly Schneider, and she also goes by Mo, Be Awesome. And she also goes by Loxy Halls 21.
That's my email.
Hit her up on AIM.
It's AOL.
That's old.
I literally have people laugh at me when I tell them that. They're like, AOL? Loser.
Only cool people still have AOL
Right.
email address.
We can't eat lunch with you.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's another episode of Just Sayin. In this season, season 6, what we're doing is we're kind of looking at the ministry of the church. And we're just talking to different people that are involved in different ministries, and not just from Tri-State Worship Center, although last episode was Stacy Medcalf, and she talked about God Factor Ministry and some of the other things that she's involved in. But today
She's
we have
involved in a lot.
She is more than what I thought.
Yeah.
I mean, after listening to her talk about all of the cause and God Factor and just
An
whatever,
author.
Yeah.
and an author, published.
Published.
Author.
Mm-hmm.
I'm an author, but I'm just a copier author. She's a published author. My book was copied on a copier, and we're in the second reprinting of 75.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah. Woohoo! TWAG
75.
TWAGNER 977 gmail.com. If you'd like a copy, I'll sign it for you.
150.
Not AOL.
Not AOL, Loxy Halls 21. So, but anyway, today we have a very special guest, and I really am excited about
Who is
this.
it? I'm excited. I can't wait to find out who it is.
It's you, Tyler Staton.
Okay, I'm no longer
Are you?
excited to find out who
The
it
Lord
is.
said no. Tyler Staton is our media director here at Tri-State Worship Center, and I'm just going to let him talk for a minute because I was going to try to think about how long it's been. A long time, and he is a magician, and I'll say some things in a minute. But Tyler, let me just start by saying, just introduce yourself. Just tell the people a little bit about you. I don't want you to tell them like when you were born, but just kind of bring us up to speed on who Tyler Staton is and how you got here.
January 20th, 1986.
I knew it was coming. When AOL was born.
When AOL was birthed, so was I. Yeah.
And soon after, yeah. Wait a minute, someone's trying to call me. Sorry.
That dial-up.
Yep.
It's going to make a comeback. You wait and see.
We, not to interrupt you introducing yourself, but at a church I was at prior to this one, we had a calling service that would call out, and we had people literally tell us to take them off the list because they had dial-up internet, and they were in the middle of something when the phone call would come in.
Oh, that's...
I'm like, what's more important?
What's more important?
Yeah, come on. Tyler, tell us about yourself.
Hey, my name is Tyler Staton, and I live in Ironton.
Ironton.
Or Ironton or Arnton,
Arnton.
depending on,
Which end of the county
which
you're
end
from.
of the county you're from. I grew up mostly in the tri-state area. There was a few years of my life where we lived in Lexington when I was younger.
What?
But for the most part, I am truly born and bred right here.
I did not
the
know
heart
that.
of it all.
In Lexington, for
Yeah.
what?
My dad took a job up there,
Oh,
and
okay.
we moved up there for a couple of years, and then moved back right before I started school.
So I know you're a
So,
Wildcats fan.
I am a Wildcat.
But are you a Buckeye fan as well?
I don't hate them, but I wouldn't call myself a fan.
They ain't my
either.
favorite.
Like if they do great. But
Right.
if not,
As long as they're not playing Kentucky,
That's right.
yeah. Yeah. Go ahead.
But, in the true sense of thing, when people identify themselves as an Ohioan, some people say, yeah, I'm a Buckeye. Which I feel like I'm a combination of the two. I go with wild eye. I'm a wild eye.
Okay. All right. I got
It's
you.
a wildcat and a Buckeye.
Yeah. Yeah. That works.
So anyway, that was all pointless.
Sorry, I didn't mean to distract you.
It's okay. But yeah, Tyler Staton, work at Collins Career Technical Center as a career coordinator. I help put students in jobs that relate to their field. And then I'm also like you said, media director, although that sounds very fancy and I don't feel that fancy.
Well, you are fancy.
Here at
Very fancy.
At the Tri-State Worship Center. And it has been since 2013?
I would have said
Question
12 or
mark?
13, yeah.
13,
12 or
I believe.
We moved into
2013.
this building in 2010.
Yeah.
And it was just not long after
A
that.
few years later,
Yeah.
a few short years later, I came here really not expecting to get involved in ministry. But the
came
funny thing
here
about that
really-
is, but you and I connected
We
because
did.
we are kindred spirits in the fact that we are Mac guys.
Yes. Yep.
And it was all downhill uphill. From
uphill,
there.
yes.
And I got involved, helped out a little here and there, and then all of a sudden it was like,
Yeah.
we really took off in the media side of things.
Yeah. So go back up just a little bit. Yeah.
Beep.
You graduated from
I graduated
the Twig,
from the Twig,
and you did take some media
yes,
type stuff, right?
really, I could go back to high school with some of that. That was my very first experience with a Mac, by the way. It was
In
when
high
I was
school?
in high school. I took an interactive media class and learned some video editing, website design, and graphic design. And then I furthered that with an education at OU Southern through their electronic media program. Mainly videography and radio production was the concentration there.
All right. I knew that you had a background in media, and that obviously plays into what you're doing here. But I wanted. Well, maybe we could get some advertising money from the Twig.
I mean, we could try.
Right.
I can reach out to some folks.
Do it.
See what we can do.
We'll get some merch.
And we'll get some merch finally. But yeah, and oddly enough, there was a period of my life where I was not doing anything besides maybe hanging out at my house recording music, just me and myself and I. And we were a trio, three-piece, me, myself, and I. And so I would do that, and I feel like I learned a lot more on my own. Like, not that Ohio University didn't provide me with some, foundation in that, but really just getting out and exploring the world of audio production on my own, I learned a lot. But there was a while there where I really didn't do anything. I worked a job at the Ashland Mall at the Finish Line, and I was there for 10 years. And although I worked part-time at a radio station, there was nothing for me around here, it seemed like, in that field of broadcasting, production, stuff like that. Nothing that could help me pay the bills. There was a lot of part-time work and not a lot of full-time stuff.
Right.
So I kind of had reached a point where I'd almost just kind of given up on that's probably not going to fly. And then somehow it all presented itself in the Lord's time.
Well, it really,
It presented itself.
It
yeah.
really was. It was a God thing, and you came. I think your mom invited you
Yeah.
to come, and you came, and we haven't been able to get rid of you. I mean,
That's
we've
true.
been
Yeah, you
enjoying.
haven't left
tried.
since.
We've been enjoying your presence ever since.
I got a text today said that they missed me in
Right,
church, so
they
I
did.
know somebody
Because
did.
you were on vacation down at the beach.
Yeah.
Tell us how you see. Well, first explain. I guess maybe explain what is media ministry. What would you call that? How would you describe media ministry?
I know it's odd to say, but I almost see it as an outreach. Although it's very impersonal, it's a way to help spread beyond these walls. The ministry and the gospel of Jesus Christ, but also a little bit of nudge for the church as
Sure,
well, a little
yeah.
promotion for the church. And so anything that relates to that, social media. We do live streaming. We have a podcast. I don't know if you knew that.
Where you been?
Oh, I wish I could be on the podcast.
Yeah.
Well,
one day.
it's not too late. We know a guy.
Right. We know a guy who's recording this.
But yeah, social media, website, all that stuff kind of falls under that umbrella. Any kind of announcement that involves the digital signage that we have in the church and stuff like that. I'm usually somehow in the loop, getting it out there, getting it on there, and then there's a lot of different facets.
and for our worship experiences on Sunday, you are sound guy. You run the sound.
That is true.
As well as you do produce the Facebook Live, and you have a crew of guys.
We have a great crew. I'm glad you said that because that's one thing I wanted to definitely do is give a shout out to those guys.
Shout out.
There's a lot of them. Terry Brammer, first and foremost, who is
the man.
My PIC, my partner in crime. He's always there. Or not crime. Sorry, we don't do crime.
Yeah, we're no crime.
We're not criminals.
We're church.
Partner in church.
Yeah. Hey, why didn't you think of that a minute ago?
I don't
Maybe
know.
you could edit it out.
It took me a minute, but I got there. But we do the live stream, and this weekend, and actually last weekend I was on vacation, and he stepped up and ran the live stream, and
we missed you, but they did a good job.
And they do, and part of that for me, it's just showing up. Like there's a lot that goes on back there, and I know that I've spent enough time over the last blah 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 years that I kind of know it inside and out, and so for some of those guys, it's a little bit intimidating come in. And me not be here for them to if they have questions,
right.
But they show up, and for me, that's the biggest part. It's just that they show up and they try and they put forth the effort, and I appreciate that. Terry Brammer, I'm going to shout out Eric Wall because he helped fill in on sound, although he has sort of stepped away from that because obviously him and his wife are doing the children's ministry, and they're doing a great job of that. But I appreciate Eric because up to this point he has been a big part of that, helping run slides and camera and stuff anytime we needed anybody.
Yeah.
There's another guy you may know. His name's Jonas Wagner.
Hey,
Jonas.
He's
Joe, bro.
You guys have the same last name, right?
we do. That's weird.
I should introduce you. You might be
related. He is my oldest grandson. He's 14.
And he's taller than everybody. I think he's getting close. I think being as tall as me.
Yeah,
I'm 6'4".
I don't think he's going to stop.
There.
I think he's still going.
He's kind of a noob, and as far as the gang that's that's helping me out now. But he's doing a great job.
Mm-hmm.
Runs mainly slides and stuff during both services. We use Pro Presenter.
Right.
That's our weapon of choice.
Yeah.
Man, why am I saying these words that just do not?
Plug.
Yeah. Pro Presenter.
Maybe we
Another
can get some
plug.
money. Yeah.
And it's not a weapon; it's a tool.
This
How about
episode is brought to you by Quaker Oats. So
man,
maybe we could get some money from them.
That cinnamon spice looks
I'm
really
telling you.
good.
You got some other guys. Derek Lucas.
Derek Lucas and Michael Lucas.
Michael Lucas.
No relate. No, wait, they are.
They are related. They're
They're
cousins. That's right.
But they've been helping out with slides, and I think one of them even ran camera last week because I was gone.
I know Akil Brown filled in.
Akil
on
Brown
the board.
helps out. He's my sound guy. He's a similar background, in music production as myself, and so I love when he's available to help run sound because, not that I don't, trust the other guys, but I can breathe easy when I know Akil's back there because he knows his way around.
And he likes to shout the amens from back there.
He does.
He's all about it. And I've had several different crews over the years that have been involved in help. I feel like I have to shout out because they're like the OGs. Trevor and Connor.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Ian,
Yeah.
were always a big help in that. So
Well, there was a couple, or at least one newbie while you were on vacation, and I don't know Terry Brammer's grandson.
Oh, it was Tyler, yeah.
Was that what? Okay.
Yeah.
Because he was on a camera.
Yeah.
He was working a camera. Which, when we say camera,
it's really an iPhone.
it's an iPhone.
Yeah.
but it's mounted on a tripod and it has a zoom lens.
Right.
And we use another plug, Switcher Studio.
Switcher Studio, send us some money.
It's an iOS based application. Then we use an iPad and several iPhones to produce our live stream, and
I would
it
put
does
it
a
up,
great job.
I would put it up against any stream because it looks incredible. And when I tell people we do that with 5 iPhones and an iPad, they don't believe me.
They don't.
Because it really does look
They're
good.
like, say what now?
Yeah, and Switcher Studio does make it, professional.
They do.
Because you can bring in the computer, whatever's on the computer, you can bring that in with whatever's on a camera. You can pick a camera.
You can overlay elements. You put little corner bugs,
He's using buzzwords now. Corner bugs and overlays.
Overlays, corner bugs.
And you got and what was it?
And whatchamacallits.
Yeah, those.
Who's your what's-its?
You have a couple camera, or at least one of those cameras on, what do you call the thing?
The DJI Osmo.
There you go.
It allows you to mount the iPhone and then control that Osmo from the iPad. So I could be in the back of the room and make this Osmo tilt and pan, so that I can use that camera for more than just one static shot. And so we have 2 of them up on the stage, and I kind of swing back and forth and get different people. With those
it did it
cameras.
one time, and I didn't know it was going to do it. It startled me. I was getting ready to cast a demon out of it. I was
Sometimes
like, what is going on here?
Sometimes I think I'd take Gene by surprise when he's up there playing his bass. I feel like he looks at it like,
Ooh, what's that thing doing?
Rise of the Machines. It's going to get me.
I'm sorry, Gene. I can't do that.
Yeah. But, so technology has come a long way just within the last, 10 years or so, especially.
Well, especially a church. I mean, we're not a big church. I say we're a medium-sized church, and we might be a big church for this area, but we're just a medium. And a budget for the kind of live stream that you produce in a bigger church is multiple tens of thousands of dollars. And with Switcher Studio and iPhones, and it just makes it affordable for any church really to do that.
At one point, we did kind of look into that, and it was like, man, that's a lot of commas.
Yeah, well, there was a local ministry that was kind of closing down shop locally, and they were moving to Florida. And I asked, "Okay, are you going to sell all your equipment?" Yeah, and I was like, do you have an idea how much you want to sell it for? And he was well over $100,000, and I was like, okay, forget that. Yeah. I mean, if to do that means I've got to give up my salary. No, wait a minute. I'm just kidding.
So if you're listening and you have an iPhone,
preferably I think 8 and up right now. 8 is the lowest compatible version of the iPhone for Switcher Studio.
I'm gonna get in trouble right now. I'm going to get in trouble.
We have had a lot of luck. We've had several people that have, when they get their new phone, they donate theirs.
We will give you a charitable write-off.
Yeah.
For your phone.
And so that has helped us sort of keep them up to date, because every so often, the lowest compatible. I mean, at one point we could operate using the 4.
Oh, wow.
And then, obviously 5, 6, 7, 8, and 8 is the lowest now, but I mean, I'm sure soon it'll probably be to the point where we've got to use 10 or higher. And
you mean the X?
X.
Yeah.
It marks the spot.
I know that there's been a couple of and maybe we don't want to linger on this, but there's been a couple situations where some churches have asked for your assistance in helping them. I know my brother in Indiana.
I actually spoke to them yesterday.
Did you?
One of the girls that is on his crew up there messaged me about an issue they were having.
Well, I'm going to start charging them by the hour.
I think
I
helped them, but I don't know.
Well, and I think there was a guy in Louisiana, I think, that caught one of the God Factor events and wanted to know how we were doing all that. So I think it's cool that the Lord uses you the way He uses you to, help us at Tri-State Worship Center. But like you said, it's kind of an outreach too.
Yeah.
Not just getting our live feed into the homes of people that can't get out, but you being able to help other churches, other ministries to be able to do the same thing. True. I think that's incredible.
True.
And it does take a person of generosity and being able to sacrifice some time to do that. And I appreciate that about you. Let's change gears just a little bit. How do you see the connection between the media ministry and church? I mean, the spiritual connection there. How would you put that in words?
It's a good question.
Why, thank you, Tyler.
Honestly, I and this is how I kind of view myself in the ministry as well as whatever I can do to help that message, whether it's help pushing it out to 50 people who maybe wouldn't normally get to see this message. Maybe it's something that they need to hear, but it's also me doing whatever I can, or we as a crew help you deliver your message, whether it's delivering that graphic right at the right time. 'Cause let's face it. I mean, I wholeheartedly believe that a picture is worth 1,000 words, and even though your words might be great,
which they are
most of the time. I mean, all the time. Sometimes a graphic can really flip a switch for somebody and really kind of make that connection.
People are visual learners,
and so having that timing be right, and delivering that when you need it. We do actually, the three of us collaborate always on our Easter service to do something really visual and really
or something mechanical.
Yes, mechanical. Squeaky.
All right. Okay. Listen, it worked. Okay.
It did.
It worked. And nobody else heard that. It's just you guys heard it.
I hear it in my sleep.
You still hear it.
But no, yeah. And so
I want to.
Illustrated sermon.
Right.
A very illustrated sermon.
Yeah. And I just want to add emphasis to what you're saying, in the sense that I will. And I said this to another local pastor, and he thought I was crazy. I said, there's times I'll look for an hour to find the right graphic, because I do think it connects with what I'm saying. I want people I want it to resonate with them, and it is important for that to get up there. And one of the things I love about Tyler Staton, and I'm going to say it as though he's not sitting in the room, but what I love about Tyler is that he does make it seamless for me. When I'm delivering this, I never even look to see if it's up there, because I just know it's going to be up there. Whatever it is that I need, whether it's a video, and I can do that with Tyler. It's fortunate with Tyler. It's unfortunate with the rest of the crew, because they don't. We have that kindred spirit that you talk.
Honestly, I think we do.
And I can walk in the sound booth and say, going to open my sermon with this, and then 3 slides in, this is happening, and I just keep on walking, and I know it's going to happen. That's what's going to throw up there.
And to give credit where credit is due, when I do take that information, a lot of times, not always, but a lot of times, that first service, because we run 2 services, 9:30 and 11. If you want to come check it out,
that's right.
The 9:30 service is typically just me back there, because we're not live streaming at that point. So I'm running sound and slides sort of at the same time. And but I always make sure I pass that information along to the guy who's coming in to run second service, and I'll say, hey, listen, this is what's happening, and this is how I did it, if this helps you. Or hey, he's gonna say this, and that means this, because sometimes it's not as clear cut as, do I need to click it now? Did he say that?
Did he say it?
And so, when we get to that
what
second
was the
service,
scripture reference he just gave?
I've been through it one time, so I can be like, okay, this needs to go here,
Right.
Be quick on that, whatever the case may be. But yeah, I do feel that. I feel like when it comes to that stuff, we're kind of,
and I think it's important, because
we click.
I think I never want media to be a distraction. I always want it to be an enhancement.
Exactly.
Right. Yeah. And if something needs to happen and it's not happening, and I'll say this right now, 2 weeks ago, just in the first service, for reasons unknown, all the media was working, but the microphones all went dead for like 5 seconds, just gone. Now, for me, I'm like, we just keep on going.
Yeah.
Right. We try to eliminate people turning around and
maybe they won't notice. Yeah.
But then, of course, somebody did say, well, sorry about that, everybody, but we got through it. And but I'm the guy that wants to be seamless. Yeah. If there is a hiccup, usually nobody's going to know it except for you.
Your response.
Yeah. I mean, if you go,
draw attention to
right.
it.
And but again, I'm saying that to say that it's so. I'm just thankful that we have a crew of guys being led by you that understand that they're there to enhance what's happening on the platform, and it goes a long way in helping us get the message out.
And I have, I have this. I don't know if it's the radio in me. When you're on
Wait
the
a
radio,
minute, there's a radio in
There's a
you?
radio in me. Turn the dial. But yeah, whenever you're in radio and you have dead air,
Yeah.
I mean, there's no visual.
No.
So if there's no sound, I mean, it's the equivalent to a blank screen.
Yeah.
And it seems to be so much more noticeable because all of a sudden you're not hearing something and you should be hearing something. And I kind of carry that with me into our Sunday services because
and I'm
I try to
thankful.
eliminate the dead space.
Yep.
And not that matters to God,
Right.
but it's
Well, I think we should always be trying to do the best
that
we
Because
can.
that's
Yeah.
who we're representing,
Right.
right?
Absolutely.
Right.
So
And hey, you spoke.
I did.
Yeah,
I'm
okay.
trying to every now and then.
All right. I just wanted to make sure you were still alive over there.
I
Because there's a fourth person in the room that has died.
he's out cold.
He was real excited to sit in.
Now, this is boring.
She did say, if you make a noise, I will beat you. And he's not making any noise now.
Not
He's-
yet,
he's
anyway.
gone.
We might hear here in a minute.
For those of you that can't see, one of these days we'll have a video podcast. One of these days, but Holly's son Zay is in the room with us, but he's just observing. But currently, he's observing the back of his eyelids.
I love it.
I got a how it started versus how it's going picture.
Oh, you already
Like he's got the headphones on and he's so
There
excited.
you go.
And then this.
Over. And we're only 26 minutes in.
Right.
Let's go back and revisit the Easter illustrated sermon thing. Since Holly is the creative, I usually come up with a thought. Okay, this is what I think I want to do for Easter. Then I just give that to Holly. Holly comes up with all the creative, and then we have a meeting and sit down and talk about okay, what pictures, what graphics, what media, what lighting, what sound effects, all those things. Holly, how do you see Tyler's ministry when it comes to trying to present an Easter illustrated sermon? I mean, how does that work?
I mean, besides the actual sermon, which I obviously, to me, is the most important part, but the media to me is the drums of the band. It is what keeps the flow going. It's what keeps the interest. I mean, because what we do is lights and videos and all this stuff that we have, all the different parts going. So it's what sets the illustration to the next level. And especially, I mean, we sit in meetings and we'll meet once or twice and we just have to say, Tyler, this is what we want. We want a video that looks like this and sounds like this, and the next thing we know, it's Easter morning,
Right.
and there's the video is.
Well, and
sometimes he's not done with it until then.
That's true.
it is true.
true.
But those videos are as good as any video
yeah.
that you can get anywhere. And again, I'm just not trying to make you big headed there, but it's true.
Good thing
I mean,
my headphones are
right.
stretchy.
Yeah, good thing you brought your own today because you'd be breaking ours. But it does. And so I think my brother, I'll give you a kind of an example. My brother is like, what can I do to help develop media ministry? And what I've suggested to him and what I would say, I know this is going to, all 15 people that are going to listen to this, it's a good suggestion. I told him, I said, go to a local high school, go to their media department and say, hey, do you have a young man, a young woman that just wants to get some experience? Bring them in and let them do these things that you've done and that you are doing. And I think that people, we as a society have become so visual in our learning and so we have to be, I don't want to say the word entertained because I hate that word and I don't think the church obviously should be involved in that.
But it's true. We're all of us to some extent are overstimulated throughout the day, and it takes a lot to keep our attention. It really does.
And then
I don't feel like. Sorry for butting in.
No, that's how we work.
I don't feel like entertaining is the correct word.
Right.
But-
I shouldn't have said that.
But you are presenting a product, right?
Absolutely,
And
yeah.
and even though it's a Christian product, and even though we do it for God, in my eyes, it should be that much better
Yeah.
than what the world puts out.
Yeah.
You know, it should be creative. It should be on point, and I feel like it represents God. So if we put out a crummy product that looks like it was made in the, early 2000s,
What's wrong with the early
it was
2000s?
a long time ago. It was 23 years ago.
My goodness,
Oh,
what a
man.
time.
I graduated high school 23 years ago. Isn't that crazy?
20 for me.
That's a lot.
You
Anyways,
you're trying to get me to say
No.
how long it was, aren't you?
we know it's a long time.
40,
70. I mean, just kidding.
47 years ago. Oh, my goodness. 47, really?
47.
No, it can't have been.
Well,
Well,
yeah,
you're
I
getting
guess.
ready to be married for 45.
If we make it till September.
Okay.
Yeah. If we
We're
make
praying for you.
Yeah.
We're praying for you.
Well, you better keep it going because we need the prayer and you need to practice.
Anyways, what we're putting out there,
Sometimes we get distracted.
they're not going to watch it if it's bad.
Well,
That's why a lot of people don't listen to Christian music.
Right.
I don't mean to harp on that,
Right.
but because what is being presented is not as good as what the world's presenting, unfortunately.
Take a look at the movie industry
Oh,
now.
absolutely.
You know, some of the Christian-based
Oh, yeah.
movies that are coming out are outselling, some of the regular theater type or studio type things that were going on. And I think excellence is not having the best of everything. Excellence is doing the best with what you've got, and that's what I think. That's what we do. I
agree.
I think we do the best we can
You
with
said
what
do
we've
do.
got. I did say.
You did say do
and
do.
and now your mom's going to be upset with me because she doesn't like it when I say. I didn't really say that.
You did, but you didn't.
Okay, so Tyler, how can the local church help any media ministry? And feel free to connect Tri-State Worship Center with what you're doing here, but in general, what can a local church do to help enhance or improve or give you the tools and weapons that you need to accomplish?
Well, I think that I consider myself blessed in many ways, and one of those ways is, and I don't want your head to get too big here,
Oh
but
boy.
is that I have a pastor who has been very supportive through the growth of our ministry. There was a time before we got to where we are now that our live streams weren't so great.
Yeah, true.
But you were excited because
Yeah.
we were doing it, and anytime I would offer up like, hey, what do you think if we tried this? This might be good. I remember when I first introduced Switcher to
Oh yeah.
and still, even once we got going with Switcher, it still wasn't great. We were missing a lot of things that we needed. We needed a good sound,
Right.
because at that time we had an old analog board, and it was tough to do that. We had I had one mic in the back of the room that aimed towards the stage.
I listened to an old sermon a few weeks ago, like from 12 years ago,
Yeah.
whenever it was, and the difference obviously is
It's
crazy.
yeah.
Crazy.
I think it's a good lesson too for anybody that's listening that might not have the products and stuff that we have. Is it all didn't happen at once?
No.
Definitely not.
It was a very slow
No.
process. You don't have to go out and spend that thousands and thousands. It was one thing at a time
Yeah.
that just builds.
And
When we planted the church in 2003 over in the building that's now Wallace Family Funeral Home. Money, please.
Plug.
Merch. We had a little camcorder.
Yeah.
On a tripod, setting up on something, and that's what we were using. And we thought that was the coolest
That was-
thing ever.
yeah.
I mean,
And it probably was at
we
the
were big
time,
time, you know. The only thing we were waiting for was that
And you
weighted
were burning,
boom.
and you were burning DVDs left and right.
It
Now-
had a multiple burner.
Yeah. Now we
I
don't.
did. That's true.
I know.
We had a 5-burner
Well,
duplicator.
I don't know. Is it still out there?
I think so.
It's just under the cabinet.
We
don't
hid
use
it. Yeah, we hid it out.
There have been times over the last couple of years that somebody has asked for something and we've provided
Yeah.
it for them on a DVD. But for the most part, all of our stuff's on YouTube. That's kind of where we, catalog or
Yeah.
what's the word I'm looking for?
I thought catalog
Yeah,
was a good word.
That's a good one. We'll go with that. Archive. That's what I was looking for. It's kind of where we
Don't
archive
say
our
don't say
sermons.
file drawer. Don't say file drawer.
Okay, I
You
won't.
remember the old website had a file cabinet drawer on the bottom of it where you
No,
could click
yeah.
on. I have been made fun of because like we had the website redone, and then a local pastor's like, "Hey, where's the file drawer at?" And then I punched him right in the. No, I didn't. I didn't punch him. But they always made fun of me for that. But to think, going from burning DVDs off of a camcorder to where we're at today, and I mean, we didn't spend tens of thousands of dollars.
No, my suggestion would be start with your congregation. Ask for donations. If anybody has devices that they're, even if they don't want to give them up, would you be willing to bring it on Sunday and let us use it? To live stream. We started with an iPad and I think 2 iPhones, and now we've got an iPad and 5 iPhones.
You probably have
7.
6 because you got one in the closet.
That's true.
That you're not using.
There is one over there, and of course you can bring in your computer you just download. It's a free app, Switcher Cast, and it casts everything from your computer to the iPad, and it's all wireless. If you have a good wireless internet, that's the other thing
that's
too.
Another challenge.
You got to have a good strong upload for your internet. We went through a while where we were just having a rough time,
but it's
with our internet.
We learned a lot through that, and it's good now. While you're right there, I mean, and I'm asking you on the spot. I mean, do you? I know. Do you care to give them an email address that if someone does have a question about how they can accumulate some equipment or get started or whatever? I mean, maybe they could just reach out to you and you'd help them out.
Yeah. Probably the best way would be tristatewc@icloud.com.
There you go.
I kind of use that for all of our media stuff. So yeah, tristatewc@icloud.com.
Cool. And I would encourage anybody that this COVID thing really changed how you do church. I mean, there's just
for a while there. That's the only way.
That's the only way we did it. Yeah. On Sunday and Wednesday, and then we had a conversation with the Metcalfs and the Wilkersons on a Monday night, and it was all done, virtually. But I do think that it taught us that we can have a longer reach by using this technology, and the enemy's going to use it. Why not? Why not the church?
A great example is just what happened at the funeral home with the person who. Yeah. Vandalized them. I mean, it wasn't even 24 hours.
No, it wasn't.
It reached like 4,000 shares, and they found the guy.
Yeah.
It's just an awesome tool, and it can be used for evil, but when you use it for good, I mean, you never know who's going to run across a message that needs to hear something.
Right.
Yeah. And on one of our slides that reminds our congregation to share our live stream on Facebook is a message that a comment that somebody made, thanking somebody for showing them and sharing that, and they've said something about they were going to visit us the next time they were here, and so you just never know when maybe the message that's being preached that day needs to hit the right set of ears, and that could be because you shared it.
Right, and that's why I think, 20 years ago, if you'd have said media ministry, nobody would know what you're talking about. I mean, media minute. What are you talking? In today's world, I think media ministry has to rank right up there in the top ministries of a church because of all the things that you've said, the reach that we have, the emphasis that can be placed on a message, the graphics, the sound, all the things that you guys do back there in the sound booth to enhance a message, to get it out there, which is what we're supposed to be doing all along, right? We're supposed to be getting that message out. And now we have all of these incredible tools to do it with.
Yeah.
We should not be just sitting around saying, well, someday we're going to do that. No, we decided we're going to do it. And I feel like that anything that we have to buy or anything that we like, we pay a monthly fee for Switcher Studio for the actual working of that app and some other things. That's not, to me, that's an investment.
Yeah.
It's an investment not just in making sure our media team has what they need, but it's an investment in getting the word out. It's an investment in saying Tri-State Worship Center, and I'm going to steal a line from our promo video. We don't want to be the best church in the community. We want to be the best church for the community.
Yeah.
Plug.
Yeah. Wait a minute. We can't get no money off that, can we? Maybe if
I'll give you $1.
Yeah. Well, it started, folks. We've got our first dollar. I got a dollar. I got a dollar.
Hey.
I got a dollar. Hey, 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 hey. So we need to kind of start landing the plane. Let me ask you, where do you see media ministry if the Lord doesn't come back in 5 years? Where do you see media ministry going?
Speaking specifically for our church, I hope that it grows in the sense that we're reaching more people, week in and week out. And not only that, but I hope that somebody's seeing that message, because maybe they don't have a home church somewhere, or maybe they just decided maybe they didn't feel well and they stayed at home, but they somehow landed on our live stream, and then they think, I kind of like this. I'm going to go check this church out. So I hope it grows the body,
right,
but I hope it grows our congregation
sure.
as well.
Yeah.
Bring more people in, because listen, and this is one thing that I love that we do this and we can provide this, especially for those that during COVID that did not need to get out, and for elderly and sick that cannot get out. We can still reach them, but don't let this be an excuse for you not to come to church.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we're so much better together than we are apart. And one thing that I missed 2 weeks of church, and it felt like a lifetime.
It felt like a lifetime to us too.
And because I need that encouragement, and I know I can get it from the Word, and I do. But there's just something about receiving that from somebody
I agree.
face to face.
Absolutely.
And so don't ever let this be an excuse not to come to church. But I do hope it grows, that we're reaching more people, that we're we're able to make it. I don't know. I do love our live stream. I do think that there are ways we could probably make it look better and sound better, and we'll get there as technology allows us.
It's pretty good, man. I don't know.
But because again, like you said, when you're doing it for the Lord, you still want to strive to do your best, and I don't ever just want to be like, just running through the motions. I want it to be a good product, like you said, and I don't know. I want to be able to just know and believe, and I do for the most part in my heart, that I'm doing something good for the kingdom.
Right. Yeah. Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
And I think that's a good point that you just made, and that is some people that would have that particular skill set or gift set would think, what can I do in church? I love running a camera, or I love doing a computer. I mean, there is opportunity, absolutely, for people to be used.
Absolutely.
And as much as important as youth ministry is for us, as important as children's ministry is for us, I think media ministry is right there. And it takes people to do it. It takes minimal investment, but it takes people that to do it. And so some people that have that gift set, maybe I can just speak into someone's life right now, that if you're sitting there and you had some special training at school, or you've got an itch for media type things, talk to your pastor and let's get that media thing rolling, because we have the opportunity to share this message around the globe. We've actually had people watching our live stream from Germany.
Yeah.
And I think it's incredible opportunity. So, Tyler Staton, we love you. We have missed you the last couple of weeks. We're glad you're back. We are so thankful that you do what you do, so that we can do what we do, and that is to get the message out, and we get it into a larger audience, knowing that our live stream is out there, and even this podcast being out there. So,
and you do it so well that I know we're landing the plane. You do it so well.
Well, I was going to turn it over to you anyway, so go ahead.
Well, for what?
Well, to say what you're saying.
Oh,
He knew you were going to say.
no, he didn't. You do.
Listen, I do know.
You do it so well that I feel like it's a ministry that often gets overlooked.
Oh, sure. Well, but that's the thing, though. If they're doing their job right,
nobody
notices it.
It's when, a slide's missed, or the sound goes wonky, or something like that. Then all of a sudden, all the heads turn around and they're like, oh, yeah, there's somebody back there. Yeah. But that's such a rare occurrence. It hardly ever happens, because it is so smooth.
Yeah.
And that's just, that is a telltale of your ministry and what you do. It's good.
Thank you.
You're so good, no one
I
notices.
Appreciate that. and again, I have a good team, that behind me to help, and I'm very appreciative of them and just appreciative of the opportunity. I never would have thought, 10, 20 years ago that I would be sitting here recording a podcast
Right.
at the church that I'm so very involved in, and especially in this ministry. And I look forward to what the Lord has in store.
Amen. Amen.
Amen.
All right, we got to go. Holly, thanks for being with us.
Absolutely.
Maybe you'll
Thanks,
join
Holly.
us again soon.
Yes, absolutely.
Awesome.
I'm here whenever you want me.
Zay, thanks for being here.
Yeah, Zay,
Hope we
thanks.
didn't bore you too much.
Yeah, we got a few snores on the podcast. This is Just Sayin podcast from Tri-State Worship Center in South Point, Ohio. I'm Pastor Terry. We're here with Tyler and Holly, and we just appreciate you spending some time with us. Please join us again at the next episode, but until then, we'll see ya.
See ya.
Bye.